Mr. Secretary General, welcome to High Talk on CGTN.
Thank you.
Talk to me about this high-level delegation you're leading this time in China. You're in Beijing. I understand it will also take you to Chengdu. What will be the aim of this trip?
Well, thank you very much. My delegation and I came to Beijing by the invitation of the CPC, and we have come to do two things. Number one is to sign a memorandum of understanding between my party, the SPLM, and the CPC. Number two is for my delegation, especially governors who are the chairpersons of my party in various states of South Sudan, to come and learn for themselves how poverty is alleviated in some of the areas that are dealing with poverty in China. We need to have those skills and those experience for us to go back home and try to apply them.
CPC and your party, SPLM, have cooperated before. And can you shed light on what goes into that agreement, that memorandum of understanding this time? And how would you evaluate cooperation so far between these two parties?
The SPLM and CPC have cooperated in a number of areas. One is in physical infrastructural development. We have a road now which is being built by Shandong High Speed from Juba all the way to Rumbek. There is also renovation of Juba Teaching Hospital by Chinese companies. There are also cooperations in building schools. Our hope is that as we sign the new memorandum of understanding, we will have to scale up more cooperation among ourselves because we have become strategic partners at this level.
South Sudan fought long and hard to become an independent country. But over the last 11, 12 years since its independence, it's also had its fair share of challenges and difficulties. Can you share with us the major obstacles and challenges South Sudan is facing right now, and what plans are in place to address these critical issues?
We're facing two major challenges. One is the conflict, which is the war that happened in the country in 2013. And to address that, we went through peace agreements. And at the moment, there is stability and peace in our country as we are implementing the agreement. The other challenge is natural disaster. We now have floods that are coming to South Sudan and destroying many villages and many counties, and most of the people are displaced in those places where the rains have fallen. That is part of the climate change. And so in terms of humanitarian, the CPC has been sending assistance to the government of South Sudan to assist those displaced people. But I think in the future we have to think about how we are going to mitigate these kinds of natural disasters. Water is more in South Sudan now, maybe by having more water reservoirs, by creating some ways where the rivers can reach places which are also drought-stricken. So those would be some of the challenges that we would be working collaboratively together with our partners, especially the CPC.
Why don't we spend some time with the Belt and Road Initiative just now? South Sudan has been an important partner to this initiative proposed by China. Is it going to be expanded into more sectors? Are we talking about more investments? How do they expand here?
We're expecting to expand the road development, especially road construction in the country. It would also involve railway networks. It will also involve river transports. We have many rivers in South Sudan. We are also expecting to invest in the electricity system because at the moment we are using generators. We would like to invest in the hydroelectric power, which is more reliable and more environmental friendly. And we would also expand our education system, where we would like to build more universities, more technical schools.
China has put forward the Global Development Initiative, Global Security Initiative, and lately the Global Civilization Initiative. How do you view those initiatives proposed by China, and how do they help countries like South Sudan face up to the challenges of our times, and how can we work together to rise up to those challenges?
You know, South Sudan is part of the global community, but we are a very young country, and for us to fit into those systems, we need to be able to work together with countries that have been ahead of us, especially friendly countries like China, where the cooperation is a win-win solution rather than a competition between adversaries and the winner takes all and the loser gets nothing. So we like the conceptualization, the idea behind the global development and the civilization, because it will help South Sudan leapfrog from where it is to a better place in terms of development.
I do want to end on China-Africa relations here. I mean, China, obviously the largest developing country, Africa, the continent with the most number of developing countries here, China and South Sudan, and other African countries are trying to join hands to build a high-level China-Africa community with a shared future. When you hear this concept, can you share with us your understanding of the vision?
You know, for African continent, we liberated ourselves from oppressive colonial systems, and our desire is to transform the lives of our people for better. And it has been almost impossible for the last so many years, maybe around 30 or even 40 years. But our cooperation with China has been based on how do we help the African people come out of this backwardness and be together with the rest of the world. We have seen China as a true partner for us, working together to uplift the people of Africa out of poverty. That is a kind of cooperation that we would want to see. What we have experienced with others is that they come with the prescribed development model that might have worked with them, and they want you to use it, or otherwise, if you don't use it, then there is no reason for you to do any other thing. And so for us, our relationship as defined with by FOCAG, I think, will continue into the near future, because we are all sharing and benefiting together.
And it is our hope that your trip this time in China will mark another important step towards that goal of a more modern, prosperous future for South Sudan. Mr. Secretary General, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Thank you.